Good morning, Bore da. May I welcome all members and officers to this hybrid meeting of the Economy and Environment Overview and Scrutiny Committee. This meeting is able to be viewed live by members of the press and public today. Therefore, may I welcome anyone that may be watching remotely. A recording of this meeting will be made available on the Council's webcasting and YouTube channels after the meeting is concluded, should anyone else wish to view it. To confirm, as a Council, we welcome the use of Welsh language within our public meetings, but I can confirm that I have not received any notifications requests to use Welsh today. Therefore, the meeting will be conducted in English only. May I remind members to refrain from using the chat facility and use only the raised hand icon to indicate when you want to speak. Please could you also keep your microphone muted when not talking, so as there aren't any unexpected interruptions encountered. May I also remind members that, as per statutory guidance made under Section 4 of the Local Government Wales Measures 2011 and our formally adopted hybrid meeting policy, any member attending this meeting remotely must be able to be seen and heard by members and officers who are attending the meeting, as well as by members of the public viewing the meeting externally. So can I ask that you all please use your cameras for the duration of the meeting. Moving on to the agenda, could I ask Niall, our Democratic Service Officer, please to confirm if we have received any apologies?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we've received apologies from Councillors Stuart Ashley, Carl Gordon and Elizabeth Haynes.
Thank you, Niall. Moving on to agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Can I ask all members to state whether you have any declarations of interest to declare, please? I see lots of no's and noddings. Thank you, members. Agenda item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 11th April 2025. Just to remind members, these minutes relate to the report we received on carriageway maintenance as part of the wider Highways Asset Management Plan. Members, do you approve these minutes as an accurate record? I see lots of hands up. Thank you very much. Accepted. We move on to agenda item 4, the action sheet. Can I please ask members to confirm if they have any questions or whether they are happy to note the action sheet? There's one item on the action sheet which has now been actioned, so...
Happy to approve.
Thank you, members. Agenda item 5, on to the main report, update on recommendations report. The purpose of this item is for the committee to be provided with an update on recommendations that we have previously put forward as part of our scrutiny activity over the last year. Can I now invite Geraint, our scrutiny officer, to go through the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, members. Since March 2024, the current Economy and Environment Overview and Scrutiny Committee and the former Cleaner Communities ONS Committee have made numerous recommendations, a high proportion of which have been accepted or considered for adoption by the Executive. It is sensible to reflect on to what extent recommendations made have been embedded and acted as a catalyst for delivering service improvement. Please note, any recommendations that were rejected have already been removed from this monitor. Strategic Directors, Heads of Service and Executive Members are in attendance today for any questions on progress you may have. Also, to ensure the impact of scrutiny is properly evaluated and recommendations are not just accepted but acted upon, a summary of impact has been produced by service areas against each scrutiny item, defining what impact of progressing was seen from the committee's scrutiny activity, and that's all in Appendix 1. Please note you're not here to re-scrutinise these items, just to determine whether you're satisfied with progress in actioning your recommendations. If you're satisfied that your recommendations have been actioned appropriately, they'll be removed from further monitoring. However, if you're not satisfied with progress, then they'll remain on the monitor for further updates. We haven't included updates on recommendation implementation for the last meeting of the committee, as it's too short a time period to reflect on progress, but they'll be considered in the next update report. So just to clarify, you've got 5 updates that you're here to consider, and they're enforcement service review, draft waste enforcement policy, green space management, asset management strategy, and draft recycling strategy. So if we take each update in turn, starting with the first set of updates on the enforcement service review, members, do you have any comments or questions on this set of updates, please?
Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Chair. I just really wanted to check if there was a further update in terms of recommendation 2, because obviously there were a number of things that were said to be happening. It would be helpful to know if they have happened as expected. Page 18. Sorry.
Is there anyone who'd like to take that up for us, please, officers?
Yeah, do you want to answer that one, please, Michelle?
Yeah, apologies, Geraint. I couldn't quite hear Councillor Williams. It was very blurred. But I'd certainly answer any questions if I can.
Sorry, I was just checking, in terms of recommendation 2, there are a number of things that were, if you like, in progress. I just wanted to check if progress had been as expected.
Yes, sorry, so that's in relation to the camera car, Councillor Williams. Yes, that is progressing. There is a slight delay because I can see obviously we've said that it will be operational in September. It's likely to be operational now in October. And we are hoping to bring a full update to members as soon as the camera car has arrived and we've got all the relevant software. Like you say, the lead time was slightly longer than we had anticipated for the software. It was 12 weeks instead of the 10 weeks that we were initially told. So yes, like I say, it is progressing well, but there should be a slight delay with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of members? Okay, so the second one was Geraint.
Are members happy to take that off the annual monitor?
Oh, right, of course, yeah. Members, can I ask if you're happy to take that off the annual monitor now, or whether you'd like it kept on for the early monitoring? I've got Councillor Williams answering, he's happy to take it off. Councillor Hawler?
Yeah.
Okay, is that okay? Mark that down as taken off. And can you introduce the next one, please, Geraint?
Yeah, so the next one is the draft waste enforcement policy. So any comments or questions from members from that? I know we've got Claire Cutforth here to answer anything on that one. If there's no questions or comments, then are members happy to take that one off the annual monitor as well? I think so.
Yeah, happy to do that.
I can see lots of nodding. You can mark that down.
Okay, shall I move on to the next one, Chair?
Yes, please.
So we've got the next one then is green space management. Any questions or comments for, we've got Dan Morelli and Andrew Osborne here. I think members are satisfied looking up there. Yeah. Are you happy to take that one off as well, members? Right,
No objections.
Fourth one then, we've got the asset management strategy. Any comments or questions for officers on that one? Same again, is it, Chair? You're happy? I take it you're happy?
Looks as members are accepting that for removal. Thank you.
And last one then we've got is the draft recycling strategy. Any comments or questions? No? You're happy for that one to come off as well? Oh, Councillor Williams?
It's only to observe that this has been a fairly live issue, and I think members are being well informed and kept up to date as matters go forward. So thank you.
So we agreed, happy to take that off the monitoring. Thank you, members. Okay, moving on to agenda item 6, the update on external recommendations report. The purpose of this item is for the committee to be provided with an update on progress made towards recommendations previously put forward by our external auditors. So can I invite Geraint to take us through the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Members, agenda item 6 is the update report setting out progress against adopted action plans. The Council's assurance processes require each relevant Overview and Scrutiny Committee to receive an annual progress update against proposals for improvement and recommendations received from our external auditors. Following scrutiny, recommendations and other comments made by you as a committee relating to these updates will then be reported back to the Governance and Audit Committee to fulfil those assurance purposes. We ask that as a committee you ensure that you are satisfied that appropriate progress has been made towards external regulators' proposals for improvement, and if not, to challenge the officers present as to the reasons for insufficient progress. Equally, should you decide appropriate progress has been made and all proposals actioned, as a committee you could agree to remove the item from further annual monitoring. Can I please assure members, though, that removal of any of the referrals from the annual monitoring report will not exclude these issues from further scrutiny by you as a committee, should they arise as priority items in your visioning session, either this year or in the future? Can I remind members that you're not here to scrutinise the items themselves, only to focus on the updates provided on actioning the recommendations? There's 2 sets of updates contained within the appendix. The first one came here for the first time last year, so it's the second time it's come around. So that's cracks in the foundation building safety in Wales. And then the second one, which is it's new to the committee this year, is sustainable development, making best use of brownfield land and empty buildings. So members, can we invite any questions or comments on the first set of updates? So that's the cracks in the foundation building safety in Wales.
Councillor Williams?
Thank you. I felt that the responses were clear, concise, and had met the requirement, so I was happy that we could move on from this.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Any other comments, please, members? Are we happy to accept that to be removed from our monitoring? That looks like everyone's in agreement. Can you note that, please, Guy? And the next on the external audit is the brownfields, making best use of brownfield lands and empty buildings. Members, have you got any questions on the report, please? Councillor Williams.
Again, similar comments in that I think there's been a very full response from officers in terms of activity undertaken, and I'm content that the recommendations are being well addressed.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Can agree with that. Any other comments, members? Okay, can I ask if we're happy to take that one off the monitoring as well, please? Thank you, members. That seems to be in agreement. If you can note that, please, Geraint. Okay, agenda item 7 is the date of the next meeting. The next formal meeting will be held on the 2nd of October 2025. Can I just ask members that following the meeting today, the committee has an informal visioning session to discuss and agree the work programme for the year. So can I remind members attending by Microsoft Teams to stay online for the informal session once this meeting is concluded. And with that, I will conclude the meeting and close the meeting. Can I thank members and officers for their contributions and attendance at this meeting today. The meeting is now closed. Diolch yn fawr.